short-form research skills series for graduate students and early career researchers. In each 4 to 5 minute episode, I walk through one concrete framework you can use right away, whether you're planning a thesis, auditing a literature review, designing a seminar, or crafting an elevator pitch. Let's get into today's framework. Nikola Tesla was an absolute genius responsible for some of history's most impressive inventions. Yet when he died, he had failed to communicate his grandest plans effectively to anyone, leaving his unorthodox theories lost to time. The hard truth of academia and industry is that the best ideas do not always win support. The best communicated ideas do. Whether you find yourself standing next to a key investor, a future collaborator, or a department head, you have exactly 2 to 3 minutes before their willingness to listen is completely exhausted. Today, we are breaking down the rigid structural rules of the academic elevator pitch so you can stop drowning people in abstract jargon, handle the heavy lifting for your listeners, and turn a casual introduction into a massive professional opportunity. As a former U.S. professor with 18 years in academia and a career in infrastructure strategy, I'm watching the next generation of researchers get caught in a massive systemic shift. They are failing to secure funding and collaboration, mainly because they're treating professional networking as an exhausting data dump, blindly rattling off dense methodology instead of capturing their listeners' immediate and sustained interest. An elevator speech is a hyper-short, hyper-focused talk designed to introduce yourself and your core idea to someone who doesn't know you and might even be entirely indifferent to your research. Because your time is brutally restricted, everything about your delivery must be compact and to the point. You must give the listener only what they need to hear to decide if further interest is warranted. It starts with the introduction, which should generally be little more than your name and your affiliation. Do not underestimate this step. Your academic or institutional affiliation frames your authority and helps clarify every statement you make next. Think carefully about what your affiliation means to your listener before you speak. When describing a technical topic, you are fundamentally describing the solution to a critical problem. To keep from losing your listener, you must follow the first cardinal rule of the elevator pitch. Introduce the problem quickly and compellingly by being specific and concrete, rather than general and abstract. Let's look at the exact difference between an amateur pitch and a professional standard using your research methodology frameworks. Let's look at the difference between an amateur pitch and a professional research framing. If you said, I've been studying the problem of filter design for multi-rate systems with an emphasis on minimizing filter order, it sounds general and abstract. Instead, if you said, I've been working on a multi-rate system that misses real-time deadlines, that is specific and concretely anchors the listener's attention. Notice the shift. The abstract version sounds technically correct, but it is too detached. The concrete version names the operating problem. The system is missing deadlines. That creates immediate stakes and gives the listener a reason to care. Once you have anchored the problem, you must immediately transition to the second rule. Describe your explicit solution or result. You do not have time for deep mathematical derivations, experimental constraints, or multivariable testing. Focus entirely on the high-level impact. I found a way to dramatically reduce the effective filter order by operating the filter at the lowest of the two sample rates. That's it. One clear problem, one clear solution. Remember the core lesson of the Stanford tapping game. Your research melody always sounds beautifully clear inside your own head, but your listener only hears isolated, confusing taps. Your goal here is not to explain your entire thesis or force an immediate data transfer. Your sole goal is to spark enough interest to win an invitation to discuss your work further in a formal meeting. Your job as a presenter is to do the heavy lifting of organizing and summarizing your material so your listener doesn't have to strain to understand your value. The more compact and punchy you make your delivery, the more opportunities you will unlock. If you want to stop rambling during networking events and ensure your research message is perfectly tuned for impact, head to Moonbow Tech on lemonsqueezy.com or using the link in the description. Thanks for listening to SciResMethods and for joining me through this first collection of research skills episodes. I hope these frameworks have provided practical ideas that you can immediately apply to your own research, presentations, and graduate studies. If you'd like the complete licensed PDF toolkits and bundles that accompany this series, you'll find them at moonbow.lemonsqueezy.com. Thank you for listening, and I wish you continued success in your research journey.